You're listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast with Angela Henderson, episode 158. Hey there, you're listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast. My name is Angela Henderson, and on this show, we talk about improving your business, life, or both by having amazing and rich conversations with brilliant guests who will inspire you and who will give you tips and tricks to help you grow both in life and in business. Well, hey there, amazing human, and welcome back to another awesome episode of the Business and Life Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ange, from Angela Henderson Consulting, where I'm an international award-winning business consultant and coach who has helped thousands of amazing women business owners to get all the pieces in place to have consistent 4- and 5-figure months, and then on to 6- and 7-figure years without burning out in the process. Today is just a short but important solo episode, just me and you talking about brain pickers and how to respond to people that want to pick your brain, aka get your advice and products for free. Why do we need to have this conversation? Because it's okay to charge for your services. Repeat after me. It is okay to charge for your services. And it's also okay to create a boundary for yourself and say no. If you're anything like me, raise your hand if you're out there or nod. You might find that you have a hard time finding the line between helping people and enabling freeloaders. But it is important, if not imperative, to find that line. Otherwise, you can end up feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, discouraged, frustrated, all of the above. Any of those sound familiar to you? A while ago, I saw a quote, which is the title of this podcast. Want to pick my brain? Let's first pick your preferred payment method. I remember when I first saw this quote in my Instagram feed, I freaking spat my Diet Coke everywhere. Why? Because the quote was speaking my language. Legit. I get asked multiple times a week by people if they can catch up for a coffee, which is code for pick my brain, or they just come out and ask, hey, can I pick your brain? I no longer get upset anymore when this happens because I know when I too first started out in my first business over 10 years ago, when you're just starting out, you're in survival mode. You're hanging on to absolutely everything and doing anything and everything just to make your business work. I get it. But what I do want business owners to think about is the following. The person you're about to ask to pick their brain, remember that they are a business owner just like you. For example, I make money as a business consultant from not only years of my experience in education, but obviously so many other things. And I too have a family to feed and expenses, I should say, in my life. If you're going to email, text, DM, PM, and you're going to specifically ask someone for coffee, which is, we know is AKA, can I pick your brains for free? Please think about this. Please consider this. And I'd also want you to think about just a few other things. How would you feel if you received the same email, DM message from people wanting to pick your brain or have you send product to their house for free? Instead, if you know they're a great business owner, such as myself in a consulting or coaching role, reach out to them and ask them how they can help you to grow that sustainable and profitable business or insert blank whatever, do you mean, depending on the business. You see, when people reach out to me and take this approach, I'm so much more inclined to learn more about them and their business. In addition, I then am able to offer them ways that I can help them free and paid, and then they can decide what works for them. Free ways that I offer people when they ask to pick my brains is, hey, you can listen to this podcast, the Business and Life Conversations podcast. You can read my weekly blog. You can subscribe to my newsletter. You can join my active Facebook group, the Women in Business Collaborative with Angela Henderson. Or I also let them know about paid ways, one-on-one business consulting, group coaching, my mastermind, Australia's leading 4-day women in business retreat. And then they can choose how they consume content and they can choose how they work with me. I also love these 5 responses from a good friend of mine, Janet Murray from the UK. She said, for those people that are constantly willing to pick your brain and you don't know how to respond, here are 5 that are just simply beautifully and eloquently written. One response that you can say is, sure, email your top 3 questions. If it's something I can answer quickly, I will. If not, you'll need to book in some consultancy time. Is that okay? Response 2, Janet says, is I have a pick your brain slot every Friday at 8 a.m. Here's the link to book in. Her third response is, I'm up against it right now, but I'm pretty sure I've got a blog podcast article on that. Would you like the link? Response 4 is, sure. Would you like to book one of my power hours? Here's the link to book and pay for our session. And response 5, she says, I cover that in my book, my online course, my $27 product. Would you like the link? She just says it so beautifully and eloquently. And I would say is think about how you too can set those boundaries by still saying and offering other solutions. Now, please hear me out and do not get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing with helping people out. Occasionally, and when it's right for you. But usually, if it feels like they are trying to freeload off you, guess what? They probably are. So point them in the right direction of your free or paid content, set your boundaries, say one of the 5 responses that Janet had shared with us, and get on with achieving your goals, your impact, the difference that you want to make to better your life, your family's life, and the broader community. Again, it's okay to say no. It's okay to have boundaries, and it is safe to ask to get paid for your services. If you found this particular episode interesting, I'd love for you to send me a DM over on Instagram at Angela Henderson Consulting with your favorite takeaway from today and what one of the 5 responses that I talked about that Janet said would you find, useful in utilizing in your own business. And before we wrap up today, if you're feeling stuck, if you're needing clarity, if you're needing a strategy to create that profitable business, remember you can head to angelahenderson.com.au and explore the variety of ways I can support you in the role of your business consultant, from my accelerator program to my mastermind to attending Australia's leading women in business retreat to my one-on-one support to my VIP days. I've got you covered, and I cannot wait to start helping you create a profitable and sustainable business. Don't forget, my team and I will be putting together the show notes for this episode at angelahenderson.com.au. Thanks so much for being here today, for consuming this content today, for being willing to explore and be open about what you can say when people start asking, can I pick your brain? Can you send me free product? Because it's so important. And like I said, it is safe for you to make money. It is safe for you to charge for your services. It is safe for you to set boundaries. You get to choose what that looks like for you and your business. Have a fabulous day, you amazing human, and I look forward to you joining me next week for another awesome episode of the Business and Life Conversations podcast. Have an awesome day. Thanks for listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast with Angela Henderson. www.angelahenderson.com.au